All right. I'm so excited to have live in studio today another playwright. I went to see an incredible new play last night called Revolutionary. And it's a musical that I think literally has the potential to go to Broadway. And, you know, the title is so apropos. I have the director, Prasad, in studio. And I have one of the stars of the play, our beloved Athena Starseed Castaldi. So we're using the whole name, right? Okay, in studio. And man, did Athena bring it home in terms of the singing, the acting. You know, honestly, as I was listening to the lines and the themes, what is so revolutionary about it is Athena and I go way back. And she knows that on a college level, I've been teaching this stuff for over 20 years. So I was already revolutionary 20 years ago. So to see this being brought, you know, to mainstream, finally, you know, as a musical, I thought, hallelujah. Okay, its time has finally come. And last night was a really interesting night because clearly the play is getting some attention. Would you not say, Prasad? Got a little attention?
Yes, it did. So should we talk about what the play is about for those who don't know?
Absolutely. First? Tell them what the play is about and then talk about the attention it's getting.
Yeah, it's revolutionary. It's an acoustic rap rock musical about what's happening on our planet today.
And in America.
In America.
Our loss of civil liberties,
yes, the homelessness. But it's set in the near future on Venice Beach, and it's about homeless street musicians who get involved in a conscious revolution.
I love it.
And the play explores the ideas of what is revolution.
Yeah.
And how we can do it in a peaceful way.
Yes.
But it really portrays, there's 10 characters and each one has a different point of view regarding
Absolutely.
it. So there's always an entrance
yes.
for the viewer.
Yes.
I'm not preaching to people. Yeah. I'm really inviting
because
people
there are divergent views
yes.
in there. And I like the fact that you did not just go with one viewpoint. You know, you stayed very realistic. And I really like the fact that you brought the youth in and their perspective on it and how they're pretty disillusioned with the system and all the control mechanisms. And you talked about the need for us to respect the planet and be self-sufficient. And, you know, those are the things that are on the minds of young people today. So you address pretty much all of the social issues, but I also like the fact that you address the lack of spirituality, you know, within the cities and the need to bring that in. And I think that that's where Athena's character comes in because she's a spiritual leader.
Yeah, she's a spiritual leader at the Source Center where the kids take refuge when
from the police.
From the police who arrest the psychic transvestite tarot card reader.
Yeah,
and
that's so Venice Beach, isn't it?
Maya, yes. Actually, I read tarot cards in 1992 on
and
the
I believe
boardwalk.
That.
When I first came to LA, I hitchhiked across country and read tarot cards on Venice Beach. So a lot of it's based on my own life, actually.
I could kind of get a feel for the Maya character in you, right?
They're all in me.
Well, true.
Including Maitreya, who Athena plays.
Oh, absolutely.
I spent a long time as a spiritual teacher.
I get it.
Yeah, and then we also opened up the Source Center together in Venice Beach, which was the former Hare Krishna temple. And then after we left, the Full Circle opened for 2 years.
Right. So I thought...
And now they've left and a new group is coming.
That's
who just reached out to me, actually.
Okay.
So this play is kind of the inspired by that. But really, I wrote it before I did it. So
how about that?
The plays
no,
are
you
prophecy.
lived it. You lived it before you did it too.
And then that's what happened last night. Art imitates life.
Yes.
And in the middle of the show last night, the police came to try to shut it down.
Literally in the middle.
And the play has a cop who comes in
and beats up and shuts down the kids and beats them up.
And then arrested the tarot card reader.
Yeah.
So there's something in the air, I think, when you stand up to the system.
And just speak the truth.
And speak the truth.
How about that? And this is America.
That's what he says when they're dragging him off.
Right.
What's interesting is the play it's a medicine play, meaning it has something for everyone.
Yes.
And I find the cast and my friends are quoting it all the time now after seeing it. And so this has been years in the making where I can put my message into the play and I don't have to be the focus of the teaching as a spiritual teacher.
And it can live on.
Let the play do it, and it can live on.
It can live on. Because, essentially you are literally dealing with universal truths. And universal truth is universal truth.
Yes.
And
everyone's soul can relate to it when they're watching.
I think so. And I've said to students, because, I had students just like the kid who plays your son, Athena.
Daniel Krause.
Yeah. Daniel Krause, who he and Bethany did this amazing ballad with harmony when early on when they
Dear
came out.
Darkness, when they're drug addicts in the beginning
so
when we meet
beautiful.
them. And then Bethany goes through the healing during the course of the show.
Well, don't tell the whole story.
No, I'm just saying that's her heart. She goes through a healing. We imagine those street kids you see on the Venice boardwalk and you walk by and you don't pay any mind.
Exactly.
Well, this is about them, but who they really are and their spiritual awakening.
Exactly. And it's about redemption too.
Yes.
But at the same time, I had many students who were like Alex, and their thing was, Dr. Grant, you can't do a conscious revolution. And 20 years ago, I was saying that's the only revolution there will be this time around, because you can't fight fire with fire. And so you guys talked about that in the play, and so I really, really appreciated the writing.
Yes, thank you so much. And Athena has a monologue
that
actually reflects that as her character.
So Athena, can you just share that monologue, which I thought was extremely powerful? You walked out there and you just brought it home, girl.
Okay, I just wanted to say I just really appreciate Prasad, because I've known him for several years, but he's pretty much the real deal.
Yes.
And he was living, walking, sleeping, breathing the script before the script was the script. And that's why I wanted to come on and do the project, because even though I was trained as an actress, I didn't want to say the Hollywood lines. I didn't want to play the Hollywood game. So when he gave me these wonderful lines to say that were Maitreya, not only did I believe in them,
of course, you were them.
I was like, oh my God, this is like the most amazing thing that a spiritual actor could ever participate in their life. So if I only played one role, it would be this role.
Well, and I thought the same thing, because you and I go way back, and I was like,
you could have played Maitreya too.
Well, but no, I was just like, no, the Athena was born to do this role. This is her. And Vanessa said the same thing. She was just like, oh, Athena was in her element. That was it.
Yeah. So now there's pressure to do the thing.
The first scene that we meet Maitreya after the kids have taken refuge in this old abandoned church, she enters and welcomes them, and
all in white.
The audience as well. Yeah, and there's a mirror on the stage, so the audience is actually part of the.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
The source
I was
center.
almost on the front row.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part too, because life is a mirror. Life is a hologram.
It reflects back at us what we send out.
And the audience is part of the play.
Yes.
So he incorporated them in the holographic field.
Yeah.
So they see themselves as they're seeing the play, seeing the characters as themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like a play within a play within a dream within a dream.
And it was kind of funny. I had my little 2-pound dog in my purse, and she was like getting into it. And then when somebody would get too rowdy, she was like, let me attack. And then she was like, she ended up being just enjoying the play.
Oh,
like,
this is an animal-friendly play.
That's totally Hollywood.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, Athena.
All right, so let me.
All right, get into character.
Okay.
Breathe.
All right. Welcome to the Source Center. We are the revolutionaries of a new paradigm. We do not worship a God outside of ourselves, but we see ourselves as a source of all that is. We create our reality, and we take 100% responsibility for it. And yet the world we have created is out of balance. It has been taken over by the few who control the many, and we must stop them before it's too late. But we cannot stop them by using weapons or money or technology, for that is their game. We must evolve as supreme beings to manifest heaven on earth.
All right now. I could have written that, right?
Yeah, you could have. That's why I said you guys are alike.
It's a funny thing. A lot of people think I wrote the songs. And you want me to talk
who
about
wrote
that?
the songs? Yeah, 'cause
they
they were
come out
amazing.
and they love the show. First of all, audiences are loving the show.
Yes.
And my friends.
And we had a lot of fun last
And my
night.
friends who aren't necessarily on the same spiritual vibration
Sure.
that we are, they're loving it. 'Cause
Well, there's
I wrote
enough
this-
truth for everybody
There is.
in it.
And I wrote this for the mainstream.
Yeah,
I really want
it's
why-
definitely mainstream, and I think people
But
who
cutting
know,
edge, as you
and
said.
cutting edge because it took a lot of courage to include all of those social elements and the outcast in society and bring everybody together under the spiritual people, and then under with the understanding that this new paradigm, there will be no leaders. It will be
That's
a
right.
leaderless
That was a good theme.
paradigm. Yeah, I really love that, and I believe in all the principles that you are espousing in there. I do. You are going to do. How much time do we have before a commercial break? We got 3 minutes. So can you do a little bit of one of the songs?
Okay.
Athena, a cappella. I know
okay.
she can do it.
All right. Did you know there's a light behind the shadow? There's a feeling in the wind. There's a song in your skin. Have you found there's a light behind the cloud? There's a feeling in the sound. There's a soul in the ground. Realize all the tears that we've cried fell from the sky to purify our souls tonight. The self at the center will always remember I am the sun, and I am the man with the gun. I am the love melting this fear. There is only one of us here.
All right, and that's true. That the whole theme of oneness that you kept throughout the piece, and when I say the piece, I mean the PIECE, but you were still trying to bring PEACE in there when you're dealing with troubled youth who have dropped out of the system. That's a really it's a really important theme to address because so many of our young people are being lost to drugs, like Bethany. And so many of the kids are like the one who plays your son,
Alex,
who are angry and they just want to destroy everything because we've not given them hope. We've not given them a spiritual foundation to stand on. And so I think that your play, Revolutionary, is revolutionary in that sense that you're making meaning out of the madness.
And it is a play for the millennial generation.
Yes.
The way Hair was in the 60s.
And that's what I felt.
And Rent was in the 90s.
Yes.
This is for the millennials. And so my whole cast, except for Athena, are all under 25. And they are all having their own spiritual awakenings.
I think so.
As actors.
Yeah.
Playing the characters.
And
that's been magical.
Well, what was funny was I went to Hair in the 60s and the police came and I got out just in time. We mentioned in passing that it's so revolutionary that you said there were like 4 undercover cops, in the on the front row. And last night,
they bought full price tickets.
and paid full price for it. But I'd like to talk about that a little bit because you do talk about police brutality, and it's from the standpoint of just being harassed, which, this is what I'd like to focus on, which you cover in the play, because you see it everywhere all over LA. In Santa Monica, you get fined for feeding the homeless. The homeless get treated like, I don't know, worse than animals, just for standing on the street, and you address that. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the play originated years ago from Santa Cruz, California, when the police the government installed a no camping ban for the homeless
That's
and a no sitting on
crazy.
the sidewalk. So that's like in 95. So that's when I first got inspired. I did an incarnation of this play. I also, though, in 85 wrote a play called St. Mark's Place about people selling their stuff on the streets and the cop comes in and busts them. So this has been a theme for me for years. But the interesting thing is after I wrote the first act, I ended up participating in Occupy LA. I was one of the founding members. So that kind of came true. And then the second act came true when I was facilitating the Source Center, the old Hare Krishna temple in Venice, which this is loosely based on. And that's where I met Athena, and she was our music director on every Sunday service. We had at 11:11.
Wow.
And so the third act, I was like, I have to be real careful what I write. It took me a year or two to write because I knew it was going to manifest.
To tone it down.
No, and also, I knew it was going to manifest, and I wanted to focus on the solution, not the problem. There are a lot of plays coming out right now with, anti-Trump, which is a problem. That's not non-duality.
Yeah,
Trump is our very own self. There's only one of us here.
Absolutely.
I love you.
But I said, let me focus on the solution. And without giving away the play, because I want you to come see it, there is an evolutionary leap that happens in consciousness at the end. And all of the audiences, no matter how cynical they are, love it.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the final song, the one song.
Yeah.
So like you said, it is about oneness, and I believe that's the solution that's going to help save this planet when we all wake up and realize there's only one of us here.
Exactly.
And we have to take care of each other.
And we're projecting our negative shadow self.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Onto and so in terms of my course, it's called Singularity, a course in transcending the duality of the ego. That's the other big, you touched on the shadow, with the song and all of that. And what I'm finding is that with me teaching this course and creating it, most people, and maybe you can address this in the metaphysical community, they don't really want to deal with that shadow. They want to say it's all sunshine and roses. And if I just think love, and you had one of the lines in there, if I just think love, it's all going to be good. And it's like, are you kidding? What planet are you on? You've got to exercise that shadow self, by not running from it, but being willing to sit with it and look at it and own it. Yes, I have this darkness in me, and I, and only I, must, acknowledge it, own it, and then do the work to transcend it.
Well, the second song of the show that you earlier said how much you liked with Bethany and Alex dealing with their drug addiction is actually called Dear Darkness.
Right?
And then
that's owning it.
And then when Athena makes her appearance about 15 minutes later, the next song is called I Am the Stillness.
I am the darkness that is the light. I am the stillness that is dancing.
Yep.
So that's non-duality. The darkness is the light, is the stillness that is dancing.
And you can't get to that stillness if you're pretending that you don't have that darkness in you.
Well, non-duality is no longer judging dark or light is better than the other. It's all yin and yang. It's two sides of the same coin. And my friend used to say, when you learn to love heaven, when you learn to love hell, you'll be in heaven.
It's true. It's
true. My horns hold up my halo. But you address this particular issue that people are chasing the light and avoiding the dark.
Thank you.
That creates imbalance, and it's filled in the New Age
absolutely.
community.
When you're afraid of it, you're giving it your power. You're giving your power away, and we are these infinite beings with this unlimited potential, and we've been playing so small for so long. And I love in the play, like towards the end, where they decide, well, I'm going to stop running from the police. And I think if we look at these public servants, and you brought that up, and I've said that a lot. They are public servants. They are here to serve us. Our tax dollars pay for them. And if we stop being afraid of them and treat them as if they are us, then there's an understanding, that develops. But we've got so many societal issues that we're not addressing, and we are the problem. And I think our shadow and our fear of the shadow is the problem.
And that manifests in the world because our thoughts create our reality.
Exactly.
And we talk about that in the play, too.
Yes.
So the manifestation of our shadow, if it's repressed, will show up for us to meet it, to greet it, to embrace it, to heal it and feel it and reveal it. So
and to
a
make
lot of
it,
people,
we can make it our servant. I think that.
Well, your ego is your good servant and a lousy master.
Exactly.
And I have
That's
a book
great.
called.
That's what I say.
I have a book called Dancing as the Infinite, which is a collection of my talks. And
I love it.
Chapter 2 is Love Your Ego to Death.
Yes, there you go.
So it's by embracing the ego that it becomes quiet and disappears, because the ego is nothing but a thought.
Yes.
And all
that
fear
we've
is
given
nothing.
life to. We've given life to it
course.
by giving it, putting so much thought and so much energy into the things that we fear, which, like in the book of Job, at the end he says, oh my God, the things that I have feared the most have come upon me. Well, you think? Because you put all that energy
Well, the
into
Buddha
it.
says that too. Whatever you think, so it is.
Yes.
So that's what we've awakened to, and
Yeah.
that's what the play is pointing to.
Yeah.
And we also are exploring not only these street kids who find redemption, but we're exploring the character of Maitreya that Athena plays, and Metatron and
Yeah.
Shakti, her
Yeah.
assistants. And they're the ones indoctrinating these kids to this non-duality
Yes,
that we're speaking
yes.
of. But some of the audience members might think it's kind of a cult. And
Yes.
there's another character
And no-
named
and I'm
Wolf
glad you
who's
talked about
judging
that.
it. Is it a cult? And the reason is because people are afraid.
Of course.
And so and New Age people are chasing the light, as I said earlier.
course.
So the Metatron Shakti character are people who are representing that New Age people.
Standing in their singularity as a non-dual personality.
And then they have to face their shadow in the play as well.
Of course.
But for years as a spiritual teacher, I came upon people, even while running the Source, who were doing exactly what you're saying, Parthenia. They were somehow hoping that if they sit with this guru or take that medicine or do that
Magic
workshop,
is going to happen.
Yeah, the magic bullet.
That they don't have to do the work.
No.
They don't. They want other people to do the work for them.
Well, you can either do the workshops or do the work. But the work is simple. It's just
Thank you for that.
It's just saying yes to who you are,
Yes.
to all of it. Embrace yourself for who you are. We are perfect. It's only our mind that says we are not.
Thank
and the
you.
mind is duality.
Thank you.
And the oneness is our spirit, who we all are.
Hallelujah.
So by saying yes to your shadow and embracing it, the old saying, what resists persists.
Absolutely.
So if you embrace it, it will move away, and you'll start to see. We also talk about meditation in our show.
Yes.
Meditation is the ability to witness your mind and not think the thoughts. And by doing that, you've transcended it. Now you have mastery over it, and then there's no fear. And what is the
Exactly.
fear? The fear that we're going to die. That
Absolutely.
we won't exist.
And yet there's no death.
There is no
that was-
death, and we show that in the play as well. There's a
Exactly.
wonderful moment
Yeah.
between that you'll see between
Yeah.
mother and son. And so when you realize there is no death, there's only one of us here.
Yeah.
We start to wake up, and I invite everybody who's listening right now to see that this is your moment of awakening. If
Yes.
you postponed it, this is the time to awaken, because the world needs you to wake up to who you are and share your gifts and create heaven on earth together. And that's what the play's about, and that's what my life is about, and Parthenia's life and Athena's life. And we're all here to celebrate you and invite you to step into your power, be who you came here to be, and create heaven on earth.
Thank you. Because look, we've done a really good job of creating hell on earth, have we not?
That's what I say in the
Okay.
first monologue.
Look.
That's what I say in the first
But-
monologue.
but can't
the
we-
world we've created is out of balance. The
Thank
world
you.
we've created is out of balance.
And so can't we give ourselves a Ph.D. in dumbness? Okay, because it's kind of dumb to go that deep.
Piled high dumb.
Okay, right? So if that is, if we can just own, we've done a great job of screwing things up, and so maybe we might want to try going 180
Well,
degrees in the other direction,
If I
and then
may
we can get back to the
interrupt
middle.
you, because I'd like to reframe it, the idea of screwing it up is still coming from duality.
I agree.
So there
And
is
I'm
no
saying-
screw up where it exactly happened as it needs to. Remember, everybody, this is just a movie we are creating. So just like watching a good movie, you go in the second act into the dark side. So by the third act, you're in the light and redemption.
Exactly.
So don't fear your challenges. There is no screw up.
Well, in the sense that you have people thinking that they are screw ups. Yeah. And so
let's address that.
So graduate. So here's my thing. It's just like, okay, have you had enough of that? Have you had enough of being miserable? Yes. Have you had enough of bowing down? Have you had enough of giving your power away? Have you had enough of being poor? And be, playing playing small. Have you had enough?
But can we look at where that comes from? Because you would agree, the programming of our system that's run by that very small percent that we challenge in the play,
had to buy
they
into
have
it.
Programmed people into schools,
yes,
in the
movies,
educational
system,
in the hip hop music. Yep. They've taken it over to program people. So this is a deep programming.
To play small.
But you are big. Whoever's listening to this, you are big. You are bigger than anything you have ever conceived.
Exactly.
Because there is no beginning or end. So the time to awaken is now, so that programming, which has created the imbalance, we can transcend it.
Exactly.
So you transcend your own personal shame-based programming. Mm-hmm. That's what your workshop helps people do, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And then collectively, we do it as a planet.
Yeah, because that's one of the things in the course is that, it was just an experience. Yes, you went dark. Yes, you went deep. Yes, you did things that you were ashamed of. But as long as you learned from them and you move on, it was all a gift. It was a great learning experience. And if you can move out of this, self-flagellation and, denigration of the self just because you had an experience, that experience does not define who you are. It just brought you another sense of awareness. And I think if people can say, okay, yes, and laugh at how stupid you've been and how, small you've played, and go, wow, okay, I'm tired of that role. Now I'm ready to step into my greater yet to become.
It. Well, so first step is people have to know they're playing a role, that whoever you think yourself to be is just based on conditioning.
Yeah.
And when we let go of that, then we begin to be our bigger self, our larger self.
Because that's true. They think they are their ego.
Yeah.
They think they are the roles that they play. And so in the course, I say to people, look, I am talking to your ego right now, and your ego isn't even real. It's an illusion.
It's just a thought.
Yeah. And so if you take what I'm saying personal and you think I'm talking about the real you, who is infinite, who is God, okay, then there's a real misconception here. But I don't pet anybody's ego. Do I, Athena?
No, you do not.
I do
and neither
not.
does he.
I do not.
But what you just pointed to, let's really highlight that if you're not your ego, who are you?
Exactly.
And when you rest, and then also you're the next level. A lot of spiritual practices are talking about killing your ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I made fun of my book title, Love Your Ego to Death.
Yes.
Because
if you try to kill
there is no ego.
Yeah, and you're trying to kill something that doesn't exist. That's not even real.
A lot of spiritual practices are misguided.
Thank you for saying that.
Right now, we have awakened, and existence is awakening. The three of us are just three of many thousands of people I know personally who are awakening to this level of this very realization.
Thank you.
Whoever's listening right now, you are God.
Wow. And
the kings and the popes and the priests and the globalists have kept you from knowing this, but all the ancient scriptures have all pointed to this. And Jesus was just one person who woke up and said, "I am God," and then they killed him.
Yeah.
So because they killed him,
I'm in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you.
But he also said, "Ye are gods."
Yes,
ye are gods.
But they killed him, and so that set the realization back 2,000 years. Now, had Jesus never come and only the Buddha came, I think there'd be a lot more Buddhas. But because Jesus went through that drama of being crucified, everyone's like, I'm afraid to come out as God.
It's true. It's true. And so thank you for pointing that out. There's still that unconscious fear that if I claim the God that is within me, and Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you, okay, and if you were going to hide God, okay, in the God Code by Greg Braden, on the first strand of our DNA, when they decoded it, it says God eternal within the body.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So God hid himself in our DNA, and all we've got to do is wake up scientifically to that fact.
I got to stop you again. Now. God is not a he.
Yeah. Well, I know.
For everyone to really ask yourself, what is God? God is not an object. outside of you.
And that's the old
It's the
programming.
subject itself.
It is.
So God is the
It's
awareness that's
everything.
listening
It's
to this and
consciousness.
create. It's consciousness.
It's consciousness.
I know you know, but just for the
I know.
listener.
And I'm using the old paradigm.
And one of my other chapters in my book is called "Come Out of the Closet as God." So the book is called, by the way, "Dancing as the Infinite." It's still available on
I love
Amazon
it.
As an electronic book.
Yeah,
"Dancing as the Infinite."
We want to pick that up. So what's the other one you just mentioned about God?
Come Out of the Closet as God.
I love that title.
That's the one of the chapter titles. So
Okay.
this is what this play is about. This is what this radio show is about. And everyone who's listening here, don't be afraid. You've been kept down by the people. We call them the Illuminati in the play, but you can call
they're
them
not.
whatever you want.
But look, they're not illumined.
No, they're not.
Okay.
The true Illuminati are waking up, and a lot of young people are being born into this world.
Yes.
Who are, in
who
fact,
are awake.
You talk about your dad.
Yeah.
Athena, I'd love to hear from you, Athena.
Reverend.
And she has this amazing daughter.
With
she
an
might wanna talk
amazing
about.
name called Reverence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
How old is Reverence now? 5?
She's 6.
Oh, she's 6. Oh, my
and
God.
she's basically my greatest teacher. So
Yes.
I sit with satsang with him and you and her. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, they just come in from heaven and
Yeah.
they don't see duality.
Yeah.
And she tells me things like, I was watching you before the world was created,
Right.
and I saw you come down the tube, and then I waited until you were ready, and then I chose you, and now you're here, but
And
you're
they
still
remember.
dreaming, and
They
you're going to wake
remember.
up soon.
But Athena, my daughter Crystal, who's in her 30s now, when she was 3 years old, she jumped out of bed and she said, Mommy, this is not real. None of this is real.
Right.
And look, now this is 30 something years ago. And I go, oh, baby, it's okay. It was just a dream. She said, you don't understand. This is a dream. And do you know, I didn't get it until she was 15 and she was in college and she was taking a philosophy class and she read Plato's Allegory of the Cave. And she came home and she said, Mom, remember I told you this wasn't real And Plato understands me. And then all of a sudden I got it. I went back. I had read Plato's Allegory of the Cave, but I had been deprogrammed, because a lot of things that I understood as a child. Now think about my age and your age. Who was going to listen to us? We knew that we were the first indigos to come in, and we knew it, but nobody was listening to us, so we got shut down. And so I got it, and she got it way back then as a crystal child.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're getting it. I have a 6-year-old in the class in Transcending Duality.
Wow.
Both of his parents are in it, and the first night he was teaching the class.
So I'm curious, Athena, how's it been for you to play the role of Maitreya?
Oh, it's been amazing. I've actually had to slow myself down and go more into
I can see that.
my own stillness.
All that hyperness in you.
I got really grounded doing the
Wow.
work, and Prasad actually worked with me diligently on the side during the monologues, but mostly
because you needed to be calm. You couldn't
he took
have
me
come out there.
into stillness,
Yeah.
and from that meditation, then I could address the role. So it was more of a spiritual process for me and a spiritual evolution, and I think that was my next step for my own awakening.
Well, thank you, Prasad, for helping her with that, because this girl could just she was so ungrounded. She was all over the place, bouncing off the walls, and I saw that stillness when you walked in.
And you had said earlier, of the whole cast, you feel that she is the one that you can see on Broadway.
Well, and there was
I love
nobody
that.
else you could have cast for that role.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing. I would start. She did a reading of it in the early stages 2 years ago. She filled in at the last minute, and then when I was casting, I didn't reach out to it until the last minute, and there was a lot of struggle at the beginning. She had to kind of, being
Step
a
into
single
herself.
mom and
Yeah.
adjusting her schedule, and we didn't pay any of the actors. This is a workshop production,
And it's
that whoever's going to come and see it, it's a work in progress that you'll be able to see in the ground floor
Yeah.
as it develops, and
Right.
that's exciting, and
It
the
is.
audience is needed for that.
Yeah.
So, it was a spiritual practice for Athena, as well as coming back to her wonderful career
exactly.
as an actress and a performer.
Yeah, she was
which
born.
she's
You were born
to
to
do
this.
this.
You were literally born to do this, Athena. And I've been watching that journey with you, and I was just like, wow. She finally found her role.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Actually, I thought afterwards, I even said to Vanessa, I said, I bet you she sat down with him and wrote her part. Did she do that?
No.
Oh my God. But you wanted to talk a little bit about the
Just
music.
People love the songs, and some of them think I wrote them because
I thought
they're
you did too.
Yeah, because it's so alignment with the play. But
Yeah.
my friend Theo Grace, who just had a baby with his wife Amma last year, and they have a band called Entheo. He wrote the songs.
Was he there last night?
No, he'll be there
Okay.
next Thursday for
Okay.
one night only. And he wrote the songs in 2012. And when I was looking for a composer for the lyrics I had written, I just rediscovered his music.
Okay.
And then I used the songs in the play,
Okay.
and I curated them,
Okay.
how they come,
And
and,
it's- and it's
arranged
pretty
them.
magical.
And so people think the songs are written for the play, but they just were, but at
It
a
worked.
different time frame.
Got it.
And that, in a sense, I did write them because there's only one of us here.
Yeah, and so that's where synchronicity comes
Yes.
in, right? You know, when you are on your path and you're doing what needs to be done, and I absolutely believe that, you know, what you're doing with this play, its time has come. You couldn't have done it any sooner.
No.
You know you couldn't have.
I tried.
Yeah, I know. And even with the police coming in last night, seriously.
And we want to take it to Broadway so that colleges and high schools eventually will do their own productions of
Right?
it through Samuel French.
Yes.
And we definitely see it as a film eventually, because originally it was a film script.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
but then I was like, film, theater, and then I love the theater. And by the way, this is another reason we're doing it, to bring the youth back into the theater.
Yes.
Live, there's nothing like live theater.
Absolutely.
It's like, it would be like just listening to music and never going to the concerts.
Right.
You have to go to live theater and see, and then sometimes there's an off night, sometimes there's an on night.
Absolutely.
Like with the Grateful Dead, you know?
Exactly.
So I invite everybody to come and have a theatrical experience, especially the youth who are listening to this. This play is dedicated to you. You are our future. You are the ones who are going to turn this whole thing around. I believe in you, and I have faith and hope.
And I believe that this play is all about giving the young people hope and having them step into their real power.
That's it.
And to stop giving their power away to police, to drugs, to anything outside
fear,
of themselves,
like
to
you
fear.
said.
Absolutely. So Athena, what would you like to leave the audience with in terms of what you've gotten out of this play?
Well, what I've gotten out of this
60
play
seconds.
is that when I get overwhelmed with the reality and the adversity, that to
Which
be
you do a lot.
I do. It's coming at you like
yeah.
a rushing river.
Right.
Is to stand still and
Yes.
to be still. And if I
And
can
breathe.
physically be still, then I can spiritually find my stillness, and then everything melts away.
Wow, hallelujah. For you to have gotten to that place, thank you, Prasad, for getting her there. Because we were in therapy for a bit of a time, and you
Yeah.
made tremendous progress.
Yeah.
And I was really concerned about that reactive mind
Yeah.
that you had that would just react to things outside of yourself, automatically in fear. And so that is the power, Prasad, of music and art and theater to transform the soul.
People can come to this
It
play
is
and have an
transformative.
awakening experience.
I agree.
And again, it's people can relate to different characters and go through their different journeys.
Totally. And the cast, they have really bonded together.
They have.
You know,
There's
there-
so much love.
there's a synchronicity
There is.
among them.